Hey guys, Scott here with a quick guide on how to deal with people that are camping in solo queue. So in solo queue, you got to realize that you are basically on your own. You can't really rely on teammates to do anything right. Typically, they're probably going to be useless. So you kind of have to do everything yourself. But if you're getting camped, there's very few things you can do yourself. And unfortunately, it leads to a lot of solo queue camping experiences going in favor of the killer because no one really can coordinate a save on you, but they try, so they're not doing gens. And then the killer just has time to basically just camp everybody. So, like I said, you have to do everything yourself. So, next patch, off the record is being buffed. So, basically, when you get off the hook, whether you do it yourself or someone gets off the hook, you're going to have the endurance status effect for 80 seconds. The endurance status effects make it so if you are hit, you're going to go into deep wound. You're not actually going to go down. That's that ticking bar that goes down eventually until you have to mend yourself. But as long as you are, being chased, the bar's not going to go down. So, off the record is key to this. Now, the second part is actually getting off the hook yourself. To do that, there are a couple of options. The easiest one is Deliverance. Now, Deliverance makes it so you are guaranteed a self-unhook. But to do that, you need to have a safe hook save before that happens. And now, if the killer is face camping everybody, getting Deliverance to activate is probably not going to be easy because if they're camping, chances are they're probably going to try to tunnel too. And so getting a safe unhook is honestly pretty unlikely. However, if you're in a scenario where you can get an unhook and the killer is fearful of borrowed time or off the record or something like that, you can do a 1-for-1 with the person that's being camped. Then you will get a safe unhook. Then you'll be on the hook with Deliverance, which actually ends up being really good. So you can basically reset the killer's 2-minute timer, buy your team another 2 minutes to do generators. So even when people are camping, Deliverance is better than you think because it's fairly easy to get a safe unhook, even when you do a 1-for-1, as long as the survivor can just simply last 10 seconds after they, the killer downs you when you inevitably do go down during a 1-for-1. So Deliverance is actually more effective than you think when you're or when someone else is getting camped as well. But if you don't want to go that route, you could also go with Slippery Meat, which is a very underused perk. But if you stack this with luck, like a perk like Up the Ante, for example, that gives you significantly more luck, and luck is basically it's your ratio of getting off the hook yourself. So with Up the Ante, Slippery Meat, and any luck offerings like the Salty Jar of Lips, for example, you can get up to like a 50 to 60% chance to get yourself off the hook, which is pretty significant. So if you don't want to have to deal with Deliverance and you want to kind of roll the dice, even though it's still in your favor, it might not work. But that's if you don't want to risk getting Deliverance to activate to begin with, or maybe you're scared of being the first person to go down. Either way, the most important part is getting yourself off the hook. You have to have some method of getting yourself off the hook, and all of these are ways you can fairly simply do it. Then, yeah, off the record is going to be the main thing that gives you that extra hit. So even once you get off the hook, if the killer is right in your face, doesn't matter. Even if he hits you, you have 80 seconds to run around. So he's going to have to hit you. No matter what, this health state is going to be taken away. So you're going to get value from off the record. Now, knowing that the killer is going to hit you, there are two options. Now, you can run Sprint Burst because your cooldown of Sprint Burst is going to reset once you're hooked. So as soon as you get off that hook, once the killer hits you, it's going to stack with Sprint Burst and you're going to go zooming. If you don't like Sprint Burst, alternatively, you can use Overcome as well. Because actually, no, you would not be able to use Overcome because you are right injured. Scratch that. Sprint Burst is your only option. And that is going to be really good because even if the killer can't immediately hit you, you can still get pretty far away with Sprint Burst before he has to catch back up. And then you still have, 60, 70 seconds of off the record. So this, in my opinion, is the best way to deal with camping. You have to be able to deal with it yourself. Now, if you're in a group of friends, then the perks kind of drastically change. Then you have things like borrowed time, and coordination is going to do a lot for you. But for the half of the player base that's doing solo queue, you have to think of yourself because no one is going to do anything for you. And this is a fairly safe and simple way if you really don't like being camped or you want to punish killers that do camp, to absolutely destroy their strategy. The only reason that camping works, in my opinion, is because it preys off of survivors' boredom and confusion, pretty much. For solo queue, confusion because they don't know if the killer's actually camping or not. And even in Survive with Friends, it still works because, friends want to play games with their friends. If someone is just getting face camped by a Bubba, everyone's bored. The Bubba's not doing anything. The guy in the hook's not doing anything. Everyone else is just doing gens. No one's having fun. So in that scenario, it still might work because people still might try a stupid save. And the funny thing is, this works against a face camping Bubba. This actually counters a face camping Bubba, because you will have you'll get off the hook and you'll have, a second of iframe, so he can't immediately saw you. And then you will be able to sprint burst, which means he won't be able to saw you. But even if he does catch up, you'll have a sprint burst. You'll get hit by one hit of the chainsaw with off the record, and then get another stacking sprint burst that will actually get you out of range of the saw. So this actually is probably the only thing in the game that counters a face camping Bubba. So I think this is going to rise in prevalence a lot, and I hope to see more people using this build, A, to punish face campers, and B, because camping is going to be easier now that gens take 10 additional seconds. People are going to combo with Deadlock, No Way Out, and just do the bare minimum to get 4Ks and stuff like that. So I think anti-camping builds like this are going to be very strong, and I recommend that people do it because, frankly, the only thing that'll stop people's behavior of camping is negative reinforcement. Once they see that it's not really working as much anymore, they'll probably just stop doing it because it doesn't. I feel like the majority of people that camp are doing it because they want to win the game and they found that it works, not because they're psychopath sadists that want to just remove your fun. So I think this is going to be a good idea to spread this around to try to incorporate this build into the next patch, because I think camping is going to actually go up because it's going to be easier to do. So that's it. Hope this helps. Thanks for watching. See you next time.